All right, we're back. Burger Saturdays. Took a week off there, but we're back for more. As always, we're starting with 3-ounce burgers. Got a nice little brioche bun again. We're going to use some Kraft singles. I know I'm big on white American cheese, but we're going to mix it up. And then this is what I saw that I wanted to try. Guga added French onion soup mix to a burger as the seasoning. You know, as you can see it pour out here, there are some big dehydrated onion chunks, but there's also like the fine onion powder. So we're going to use that as the seasoning for this burger. But first, we're going to make a very simple burger sauce. It's going to be mayo, mustard, ketchup, and a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. However you want to say that. Worcestershire, real fun to say. Gets that nice little mouth movement going. Do the proportions kind of how you want to do them. The color I'm overall looking for is kind of paprika colored, if you understand what I'm saying there. This is a little too yellow. I will adjust that, but I like to mix it before I add the Worcestershire, just to kind of see where we're sitting already. Now we're going to put in 3 or 4 drops of it. You don't need a lot because it's very strong. Mix that up. We're still sitting kind of at like a honey mustard color, and you want it a little bit darker than that, so I'm going to add just a splash more of the ketchup, and then we're good to go. Mix that up. Always taste it. See how you like it. I don't think you really need to season this. The burger is going to have plenty of seasoning, but if you want to add some salt, some pepper, anything else into this, be my guest. It's your sauce. Do as you wish. Next, we're going to use the my grill plate again. So we're just going to oil that up. I like to spread out the oil. It just makes sure that there's a nice even coverage and that the burger's not going to stick in any places. You can just lay it right on and let the fat of the burger render out and, you know, get those nice little crispy bits. Be my guest. I'm also going to heat up the brioche bun. I don't want to toast this. I don't like how they taste toasted, but I want to get it warm. Brioche to me is a little better when it's not just ice cold. So warm those up however you want. That was basically a minute or so. And then just wait for your skillet to come to temperature, and we're going to start to cook these burgers. Make sure when you put them on, you hear the sizzle. I'm always impatient and like to put them on too early, but wait for that. You want to hear that sizzle. And now we're going to smash these down. Same way I always do it. You can smash as thin or thick as you like for your burgers, but to me, the thinner you get, the crispier those edges get, and that's the goal. You could also smash these if you want on a flat counter first with like parchment on both sides to really get that pressure and then lay them down. But I like to do it right on the grill. And now we're going to sprinkle on that seasoning. I'm trying to get as much of the fine powder as I can. There are going to be some of the bigger onion bits that come out. That's totally fine. The fat and the oil should hydrate them up a bit, but I'm trying to find as much of the powder in there as possible. I'm sure other mixes have less of that, so those may be easier to use. But now I'm just going to grab some of those Kraft singles. We're making this a double burger because it's just going to be the meat and cheese. No other things on this, so I want it as substantial and meaty as possible. But while that's happening, we'll pre-sauce our buns. I'll put a little bit more on at the very end also because the brioche kind of soaks it in, which is good and bad in the same way. It makes it a little more cohesive, but it also makes it less saucy in the final. So I'm going to save a little bit on the side for just adding at the end. These burgers are doing great. I like to come in and just make sure that they're not completely sticking. I like to move them, let them start to now grill in a different area, burn some other parts of the bottom and give that nice char, and then we'll flip these over shortly. As you can see, all that kind of juice is rendering up into the top of the burger. That's kind of how you know when to flip them. You'll see it start to cook through like that. That also, in this case, is hydrating those extra little onion particles, which is really nice. Flip it at this point. You can see nice little brown bits on the bottom. I like to burn or brown the bottom of the patty a little bit more, so I'm totally fine with how that top is there. And now we're going to add another layer of this seasoning. This will sit under the cheese, so it will kind of do its own thing for the next couple minutes. But as always, trying to find that powder and not as much of the onion pieces. But it's all going to be delicious. I have high hopes for this. I think it's going to be great, but let's see if Guga was right, you know. After about 1 minute of that side sitting down while I was seasoning it, we're going to add that cheese and let that just kind of melt down. Nothing, I'll give Kraft singles this. Nothing melts better than them. I don't know if flavor-wise they're the best profile for these burgers, but I'm very impartial to my Land O'Lakes White American. But these melted beautifully. I'm going to pre-stack them and let them just sit like this for about a minute. maybe not even, but just let them kind of meld together. Let the bottom of that top patty kind of melt into the meltiness of the bottom patty. Really make them a kind of cohesive burger unit rather than just laying two patties on top of each other. But you don't need to do that. And then we're going to lay this right on that bottom bun. Try not to burn yourself. Those little bits on the side are hot still. And then we're just going to get as much of that extra sauce left as possible. Want this real nice, real saucy, real juicy. Definitely should have used the spoon from the beginning. Fork was not the best idea for that, so just mental note there. And look at that. You got those burnt edges. They're so lacy and nice. The cheese is melted beautifully. This just looks incredible. I'm really excited to dive into this and see what it tastes like. But first, let's cut this open, see what the cross-section looks like, and just really inspect this burger. You know, I don't know what it's going to taste like. French onion soup is delicious. Burgers are delicious. French onion dip is delicious. If the combination of the two come together right, I think it's going to be beautiful. But it looks great. You don't see any noticeable difference, which I wasn't expecting to. But let's taste these little bits. They're the onion bits that kind of burnt onto the side. And they're delicious. So I'm pretty confident this is going to be great. But let's dive right in. And yeah, it's delicious. I don't know how to describe it. The taste is very different of a burger, but it still tastes like a burger. I don't know if you could just achieve this same amount by using onion powder, which I feel like you get pretty close, but this is a smash. Smash burger, smash delicious. Give this a try.